Sucker MCs. What's up, party people? Party people in the house.
Get up. Get up.
What up? What up?
What up? This thing on.
Is this thing on testing? 1 2 1 2.
Testing. Get your bodies moving. Music in the rain. Okay. Good morning.
Say what? Say what?
They coming in the chat. Good morning.
Time to get a move your body. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yep. What up? What up? Radio listeners already chiming in. Beth liked the mix.
Okay. Vibrations.
The vibrations, yes. Okay, coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, you came in a little too hot right there. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Welcome on this Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. Shout out to you. This is Paul B. the Dove over here with Buddi3 Da Gawd. Buddy, you kind of dipping kind of low down there in the scene too a little bit, man. You're going to slide out. You're going to slide out. What's going on?
It's my back.
If doctor say you need a bacchiotomy.
Yeah, it's my back. Fell asleep on the couch last night.
Oh.
Watching the play-in. Go Hawks.
Okay. Aku Bookie, baby. It's going down.
Yeah, man. I know you're not a big sport guy, but you know basketball is my favorite sport.
Hey, basketball is my favorite sport.
All right, you know what I'm picking up what I'm putting down. Man, Hawks surprised us, man. They went ahead and beat Miami last night.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Hawks. I don't even know where where's the Hawks from?
Atlanta. Come on, man. Come on.
Hey.
Come on, man.
What can I tell you?
Context clues, at least. But yeah. So, fell asleep on the couch watching basketball last night. My back.
You don't sound like it was a very exciting game if you fell asleep. What happened to it? What happened in the game?
Well, the Hawks game was exciting. The Lakers, the late night game. The West Coast, is a little behind. So those are the late night games. And yeah, not so much, man. My Lakers kind of disappointed me, man. I'm a big LeBron fan. Yeah.
See, now I'm interested. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us again. Another fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Music in the rain on YouTube. What's happening? Good morning, Women's Wednesday. Yes. Judy Printer says morning family. That's what's up. Miss Erica Fell says, hey, good morning. Kimara Snipes says good morning. Good morning, Erica. You up already. Kimara's she be up at the crack at the jump of the show.
She's ready.
Kimara says good morning music. Okay, that's what's up. Lady Keisha says woo wee wormwood. What? Wow woo wee ao. All right, she happy. Whatever's going on, she's excited. Woo wee. Oh, there it is. Woo wee Women's Wednesday is what I meant. That's what's up.
Just the level of confusion in your voice, like woo wee, hey, whoa. Yeah, let's try to keep the comments coherent, y'all. Let's.
No. I appreciate the excitement. That's all good. That's what she winding up. She's so excited she was winding up.
Wind me up.
Man, good morning, Amy H. Dot is in the house. She says, I just came in to Buddy whispering. It's gonna be that kind of show.
Yeah, man. In the morning.
Kimara Snipes says,
Yes.
love the way it dribble up and down the court. Yeah, it is.
Hey.
Basketball is my favorite sport.
Yeah,
See,
man.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. That's a teeny too old for me. A little when I think about old head, old school sucker MCs, I'm a couple years past that. Basketball is my favorite
Oh,
sport. I'm
okay,
like
okay,
Run
okay.
DMC,
Okay.
So yeah, but that
I'm
is very
not
specific.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of raised on Cool in the Gang and
Yeah,
Curtis Blow and
right,
Gap Band. Like that's all my uncles and pops. That's
right.
shout out to Papa God.
Gap
That's
band
that's
for
what
real.
man. That's what they was playing. That's you know what I'm saying. So that's kind of my
Yeah.
foundation.
Stevie Wonder, Pops was on the Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
It was like the uncles was on the Gap band. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I mean, we were kind of mixing it up around that time, man. So we were hearing a little bit of that early rap, but we were still on, like you said, Gap band, Stevie Wonder, all that.
Man, good
Um,
stuff.
good stuff, man. There's this show I watch on YouTube with this cat. He's Nas's bass player, and he breaks down samples. He breaks down
Hmm.
songs, gives the history. Really, really, really interesting stuff that he was talking about. And especially with breaking down like samples that classic hip hop songs are coming from and where they're coming from, how they did it. Really interesting stuff that's got me back wanting to take the dust cover off this keyboard and put some stuff down,
Man,
get in the lab. So I'm taking every little bit of inspiration I can get to get back to playing. That's what I'm on right now.
for sure, for sure. You gotta stay creative. I was actually kind of, this is not related to anything what we talking about today or anything we ever really talk about, here on the show. But this is a thought that I had that I would like to share with the people as far as you gotta diversify your bonds, if you will. You gotta diversify
Yeah,
what it is that you do. A lot of people, it's real easy to kind of get stuck in that, go to work, go home, just cycle that rat race, if you will. But make sure you're feeding your mental. Make sure you're reading. Make sure you're staying creative. Whatever it is, y'all. Make sure you take care of yourselves,
yeah,
especially in the midst of the madness that's going on with the world, man. We talk about all of it here on the show a lot of times, and sometimes it can get a lot of get real gloomy, man. But as I'm sitting here in my studio, looking at music equipment and things like that, like it's important to stay creative. It's important to, keep your mind energized and refreshed, So
man.
take care of yourselves, y'all. Take care of yourselves, like Miss Erica Felt always reminds us to do.
Ain't dropped one lyric, one verse. Ain't dropped one harmony on the new SM7 mics. Been wanting the SM7 mic
Mm.
all my life. Ain't put one verse down yet. It's got to go down. That's all there is to it. Just want to give a shout out to the radio channel again, man. Really appreciate Beth letting me know about the mix in the morning. That's what's up. 6:30 crew in the house for sure. Ariel's
Squad.
402, man, is in the chat with some of that Rick James funk. I'm busting
Mm.
out. Busting out on the
Hey.
funk, on some serious funk. That's what's up. Also, Pops. Speaking of being creative, music in the rain. He says, "This is Pops. I don't know what's going on, why my name is not here, and why music in the rain is there. Anyway, again, happy Wednesday,
Okay. What?
Pops.
That's what?
Why is your name Music in the Rain? And I thought you did that on purpose, but you don't know where that came from. That's interesting.
Yeah. And later on, he says Pops was on the Gap Band too.
Man, Pops was on all the stuff, bro. As a matter of fact, so somebody played a track from that Bobby Caldwell album with him sitting on the bench. Remember
Mm-hmm.
that one that was
Mm-hmm.
sitting
Mm-hmm.
up there? I didn't know there was some other tracks on there that some hip hop cats sampled and was kind of blown away. I was like, that came from that album too. I got to go back and check that album out.
And you're not talking about Do for Love.
I'm not talking about Do for Love. There was some other hits on there there's heavily sampled stuff.
Man, I mean, Bobby was a bad boy.
Man, Pops worked with him. That's why we had
Really?
the album sitting up there. Yep. I remember vividly the albums sitting on the floor, leaning up against the wall. There's some stuff in there that's just like burned into my childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like album
Man.
covers that feel like home when I look at them. You know what I mean? And that
You
was
know
one.
what? It's funny you say that because for me, Outcast, AT Aliens,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember being like, man, like a kid, like first grade, second grade, looking at the cover, just like, man, this
Vibing
looks
out
like
on
a
the
comic book.
right.
This is dope.
Yeah.
This is cool. Very
Classic.
colorful.
It's another thing that young cats these days are missing out on, man. Album art.
Man. But the fact that every 2 times a week I work in Big Boy Studio, like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like I've met the majority, if not, yeah, I met all of Organized Noise, like just you know what I'm saying, that full circle is kind of crazy, man. So man, happy 50th anniversary hip hop. We definitely gonna be talking about more of this. And man, actually you kind of fell off with your hip hop facts, man.
Yeah.
What's up with that, man?
I'll get back on it. I'm glad you reminded. I got to be reminded about these things sometimes. You know how it is.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
when you're as old as hip hop, then you be forgetting some things. Mama Guy gives us a good morning as well. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in.
Hey.
Judy Princess says, had mammogram of remaining boob and all is good. Man,
Okay.
good news. Good news.
Good news. Good news.
Appreciate you, Judy Princess, coming on through. Kimara says, oh, they're talking to each other. Music in the Rain. That's a trip. Man, every song on that album was the bomb. Which one are you talking about? Which album, Pops? Oh, the Bobby Caldwell, probably. Yeah. Man, I got to go back to that. Von Chapman gives us a good morning. It says, good morning, buddy. You fell asleep too early. The Lakers tied in the last seconds of regulation, and they won in overtime.
Oh.
L.A., baby. That's
I fell asleep probably towards the end of the third quarter. It was not looking good. Not looking good, but okay. Good news. Good news. Gonna have to catch some first take after the show.
There you go. Ariel's 402 says, Boss Skaggs, man, you bringing back the vibes, man. We need to have a vinyl party is what we need to do. Man. Straight up vinyl party. Maybe we can do that for the Chad Chimers kickback this summer. Have a huge vinyl party and just play all the old schools.
Okay.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, Women's Wednesday. You know what that means. We will be expecting Precious McKesson. We'll be politicking with P. And also Kimara Snipes is already in the chat, seeing what's good in the hood.
Yeah, man.
It's all about the fam coming on through and the wisdom from the ladies. Can't wait to hear about all the stuff they've gotten into this week. Lots to talk about. Shout out to Terrell McKinney for getting that bill on. What are they doing? They're getting to
pushed it through pushed
it through the next step. There you go. 531. We've been talking about this whole time. So congratulations. He was talking about it yesterday. I hope everybody who was able to go up went up, and everybody who's able to write letters wrote letters. I wrote a big old long thing and then hit some button and it disappeared. Had to go back and write it again. It was a hot mess. But yeah, so congratulations. We'll be talking about that a little bit too, and can't wait to hear what's next when we talk to them on Friday. But in the meantime, between time, Precious and Kimara coming on today, put some respect on their names. Can't wait to hear from them. A few more things to talk about though before we get going. She's already talking about her Lincoln trip. That's what's up. We want to hear about that.
Yeah, definitely ask about that.
Yeah. What are some other things we're going to talk about today, though, buddy? What's on the roster?
Well, we'll definitely kind of looking at some national news, looking at definitely what's going on in Tennessee with the senators. There are some updates, some changes for the two Justins. So we'll definitely talk about what's going on with that situation. Also, we've been teasing about it for the last week and definitely want to actually spend some time in talking about what's going on with the FEDNOW situation. Because this could revolutionize the American economic system. Like it's not an exaggeration as far as the change and the new announcement from the Fed. And it will actually be going into effect pretty soon, man, as soon as July. So that's right around the corner. So we definitely want to inform you on what's going on and what's coming down the pipe.
Got to talk about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been following the money for the last year or so. So, let's keep it going. And of course, as Paul alluded to, it'll definitely be talking about LB 531, which just passed through. And then also looking at what is going on with abortion rights on the legislative floor as well. Again, a hot topic, still really feeling the wake of the historic Roe v. Wade decision that came down recently, man. So we'll talk about that and more. Of course, if there's anything on your hearts or your minds that we're not talking about, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. More importantly, and say something in the chat if you have a topic and we have some context. Try to get into it. In the meantime, in between time, just about 15 minutes into the hour, we're here for the next two. First Sky Omaha in the morning, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Paul B, all of you. Let's go.
By the way, Vanguard.
Yo. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you head chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners as well. Thanks for joining us today on this Wednesday. What is this? Wednesday the 12th?
12th. Man.
Already,
man.
April the 12th, 2023.
Yeah, man.
Time is a flying. So,
you're just going to be halfway over before you know it.
Matter of fact, we better start looking to see when the season's supposed to let up here in a minute.
About a month. It's getting a month and a half, man. I mean, we usually break out about June.
Yeah, June. Yeah, mid-June. Yeah, so wow, it's coming up. Yeah, man. Well, thank everybody for joining us and continuing on joining us. Can't wait to talk to you guys about some things today. Oh, Michael Scott has a new show, has a new podcast out. Yeah. So man, it's interesting because all of the squad from the Mind and Soul days that we put together for the morning show, all kind of doing stuff. I know that Augie Kid is still working over there with Ernie Chambers from time to time, and now Michael Scott has a podcast that he's doing on YouTube. Katie Rain is engineering for him, so this Rain's Magic the Detox. That's Michael Scott from the morning show. So like, it's interesting how everybody's kind of like breaking out and doing their thing. So. I'm all for it. We need all the black media we can. So if he's going to be opening up some doors and getting some just disseminating some information, great. So maybe go check out Michael Scott's new show. It's called Michael Scott Unleashed on YouTube. I thought it was pretty interesting. They're just getting going now. So first time he's been on the air since the Mind and Soul days, and first time he's been in front of a camera since the Channel 7 days. So yeah. So he's trying to do his thing, man. I watched some of that stuff. As a matter of fact, brother Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado was a guest on the show this recently. Also, Johnny Rogers, the legendary Johnny Rogers, Tim Clark. So we had some heads on there, man. You got to check the show out, see what's going on, for sure. Pop says, a tech tip, writing a long message and having it lost happens to all of us. If that happens to you, immediately check your drafts folder. Most of your messages will be there. Didn't know that. Check your drafts folder. Okay.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Oh no, Pops! This is the legislative. You go to the legislative page, and you hit a button, and it takes you to a form, or it takes you to a place where you can add stuff in. And I think I just got out of the page. So if your draft section, if you're doing it in an email, I know you can go to your draft section as well. Is that what you were talking about? If you're doing it in an email, check your draft section.
Yeah, also on Facebook. But yeah, you're saying you're making comment on the legislative page.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's a draft section.
I don't think so either. I couldn't.
But maybe they should think about idea.
They don't want them comments. They don't want. They mad. They got to read them. Well, anyway, once again, we should definitely jump into some things. We've been talking about this FEDNOW thing for a minute, man, and I kind of want to spend some time. We had it on the roster before, or a few days ago. We never really got to get into it. The more I look at it, the scarier it looks. And I like to give it a little bit of time before the ladies come on. So you
okay, yeah. If that's where you want to start, we can definitely jump in there. Just looking at the chat. Yeah, yes. Ariel's 402.
It was a lizard. It was a lizard. A lizard jumped. Michael Scott is one of the first individuals to go
viral.
Viral, yeah. He was on a news show back in the 80s, and it was one of them corny things in the morning where they show the pets and all that. He was somebody
segment.
A little segment. Anyway, a lizard jumped out on his suit coat, and he flipped all out. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Actually, he's using that though. He's like using it as an intro for his show.
He's leaning into it.
I think that's thanks to us, man.
I mean, we definitely gave him a hard time about it. Definitely did not let him forget. We might find it throughout the course of the show. Maybe we'll think about playing it.
Yeah,
get a good laugh in.
Amy H, not Amy H. Dot. Amy H. Good morning to you on YouTube. Says, I always type my legislative comments in a Word doc, then paste them on the legislative website. Definitely good advice. I will definitely do that again. Okay, Kimara, you haven't seen this, Kimara?
Okay, yeah. We'll try to pull that out. Yeah.
But anyway.
Moving on. But I do want to pose a question to the chat. Are y'all familiar with this FEDNOW situation? Again, Paul says that's kind of it sounds like you've been looking into it a little bit, Paul. I am curious. Those of you in the chat or ghost listeners, have any of you been listening to what's been going on or caught wind of what's been going on as far as this federal now situation? This was announced, I believe, earlier this week or late last week by the Federal Reserve, and effectively it is basically the federal cash app, a state sanctioned cash app or PayPal. And the issue is that there are some concerns that could go right in the face of Cash App and PayPal. And I will say that this does. I find it kind of interesting that this is coming on the heels of also conversation about TikTok being banned as well. So the U.S. government definitely stepping in on a lot of digital websites and kind of continuing. What we've seen with the books being restricted. Now we're seeing possibly some applications and some other digital things being restricted as well. But again, FedNow, as the Reserve tells it, it is going to be a digital currency, much like Bitcoin or other things that you see. According to Tom Barkin, who's the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond and the FedNow program's executive sponsor, he says with FedNow service, the Federal Reserve is creating a leading edge payment system that is resilient, adaptive, and accessible. He says the launch reflects an important milestone in the journey to help financial institutions serve customer needs for instant payments to better support nearly every aspect of our economy. The network will apparently give users the ability to pay in seconds and support a variety of payments, including consumer to consumer, consumer to merchant. So you can buy from stores directly, also merchant to merchant or bank to bank. So again, if you've ever had difficulty making a wire transfer or paying for something that maybe the processor or the merchant that you were trying to buy from didn't accept your form of payment, this is supposed to again eliminate all of that. This is supposed to be a state sanctioned legal tender, which means that all merchants are then required to accept this as a form of payment. There's no more, no, we don't accept Apple Pay, or no, we don't accept Cash App here. This FedNow service is going to be accepted at every store. We can kind of get into some of the issues or some of the concerns with this. But again, I am curious, has anybody at least heard of this? Because this is something that is coming down very soon. Again, this is expected to be available as soon as July. So are you familiar?
Yeah, yeah, I'd like to know that too. It seems so incredible to me that I can't I can't wrap my head around the fact that like I don't even know anybody else talking about this quite yet. I see a few things on the internet here and there, but basically, from what I understand, it's going to be the way that the federal government can stop payments.
That's the biggest concern.
Cut
Biggest concern.
so the money's in your bank. The money then goes through FedNow, and then it goes out to wherever it goes out to.
Right.
So they can turn the funnel off or on, and that includes direct deposit. If they just decide they're gonna stop your direct deposit, they can stop it. If they decide they're gonna take it, they can take it. There's a lot of control that's happening here with this situation. It's not just an option like how Cash App was or whatever. This is like because of the value of the dollar is going down so hard. That's one of the things I think is one of the reasons.
Man, which we haven't talked about really.
Right, value of the dollar. So Pops. It doesn't look like it's going to be a service that you have any choice about whether or not you can use. He says, I'd be hesitant to use that service. The government can take your money anytime they say you owe them. That's right.
Yeah.
This would allow them to control your money with more ease, right? And
Yes.
what I'm understanding about it is that this is inevitability. As in this is a major change. Something's happening with the dollar where everything is going to go instead of cash.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the writing has been on the wall for quite some time, man. Again, we try to focus on hyperlocal and what's going on in Omaha, Nebraska, and things that are happening right in our immediate backyards. But coming down the block, there are other things happening in the neighborhood, if you will. And one of the major things that has been happening for quite some time are other countries dumping their treasury bonds. Again, the United States dollar has been the main currency around the world, the main central reserve for many countries around the world for a long time. And over the last several years, countries have been dumping those treasury bonds, which means that the value of the American dollar is going down. And now, with the BRICS nations, again, Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa, and it's one more country, I forget the name, but these countries are, which are some of the major countries, especially Russia, which is a major oil importer, which again, the American dollar is backed by oil. That's what gives the American dollar its value. Um, they're all pulling out and doing their own thing, which means that they won't need the American dollar to trade anymore, which then means it loses its value and it's gonna hit very quickly. We need to start protecting our dollars. I think see Mayor Sanchez Ariel's 402 said that he pulled his savings out of his bank. Those are things we might want to consider. I mean, it's not too far fetched to think of um depression esque situations happening as far as banks being closed. I mean, it's already happening, really. Let's be honest as far as what's going on with the banks, and the banks are all on board with this new change to this now what's called a digital currency. According to, again, this article in Black Enterprise, the reserve says that the country's leading banks are on board for the service and transactions are already being tested. Again, this is set to happen in July. This is coming very soon. With the launch of drawing near, we urge financial institutions and their industry partners to move full steam ahead with preparations to join the FedNow service. That's according to Ken Montgomery, who's the first vice president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, and also the FedNow program executive. So as you see, again, all of the Federal Reserve banks across the nation are all, this is their this is their program. This is their child. This is the FedNow. And again, I think Pops had mentioned in the chat that he wants to stick with PayPal. As Paul mentioned, I think that there is going to be a standoff between this because it's a conflict of interest.
Right.
And if Fed now is required, and every and the federal government is investing its dollars to make sure that we're really investing our dollars to make sure that this system works. It's going to be widely available. Every merchant is going to be using it. Why would they use a Apple Pay? And furthermore, you know, is Apple a bank?
No. But that's the difference between Apple Pay, PayPal, Zelle, all that stuff. They're working with the bank, and the bank is where the control is at. Fed now looks like they're going to be the one. They're making it they're gonna make it a requirement that all the banks and all the merchants work through this. It's like
Yeah,
a through situation where it goes from your bank to Fed now, and then everywhere else that it's supposed to go.
right.
We'll be talking about this more and more. Like I said, we set this up last week and didn't really get to it. I've been trying to look at some of these things more and more. We're digging into it more. Stuart Knight, good morning on YouTube. Stuart D. Knight says, I haven't heard of this, but I know why the founder of Cash App got killed.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting that you say that. Like, we don't want to dip too much into any kind of conspiracy theories, but it has been a whole lot of people who have been heading up some of these same kinds of services, like Cash App, PayPal. People dying of mysterious deaths and all kinds of weird stuff going on for sure.
And
So, mhm.
in addition, I do want to acknowledge also an earlier comment. I think that woman asked if that has something to do with the founder of Cash App suing somebody. So I didn't
Mhm.
know there was a lawsuit as well. So yes. Again, I don't, as Paul mentioned, want to go into the conspiracy theory. We don't really know if we don't have any proof. We'll say that any of this is really connected, but the timing is very peculiar as far as this announcement being made. There's a lawsuit that's mentioned, and then yes, it has been reported last week that the founder and CEO, I believe, of Cash App was found
Stabbed
dead.
to death out front of
Yeah.
his house. Yeah.
Not outside the house, outside of the Cash App headquarters. He was
Oh wow.
leaving work. He got caught leaving work. And somebody attacked him. So yeah, very, very peculiar what's going on. And then of course we're adding to this whole mix the banks. Again, several Silicon Valley banks. Again, Cash App is in Silicon Valley. Several Silicon Valley banks collapsed. Now some other banks are collapsing. So there's some very interesting things. And then add on top of that, what's happening internationally with the American dollar. Very, very interesting. And it's not a stretch of the imagination that all of this is connected, but we don't know. We don't have any proof.
Absolutely. Yeah, Amy H. Dot said, "Man, this is scary to me. Definitely scary too." Miss Erica Phelps said she'll be doing some homework when the show's over.
Fed
Yeah,
now.
let's all dig into it in a big way. Kimmer says, "I saw a news report where the person who runs Cash App was getting ready to sue." Yeah, that's what we were
Yeah.
talking about. Right. Yeah. So very, very interesting stuff. And more information and more information is coming out about what FedNow is, and what we'll definitely have to be looking at that and digging into it, because it seems real. Every time I read anything about it, I'm just like, man, you talking about having complete control. This one brother I saw on YouTube was saying, so if they decide that they don't want you spending money on travel, if you want to go buy ammunition, if you want to if they don't want you buying ammunition, there's all these things that are going to be put in place here that can stop you from making purchases, or even gaining, or even getting direct deposit to your account because of
Not
this.
not to mention also we talk about, assistance and what's the point of government if it's not assisting the people and all the red tape that they put the people through. Well, this sounds like this could, because again, this is a federal system. So this could be public information. Like people can look at what you're spending your money on. Like, hey, you might not need food stamps. Maybe you should stop going to the movies so much. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Maybe you should stop traveling so much. Also, if it's another pandemic, we're on a lockdown. What are you doing? Where are
That's
you going?
that's where the travel thing come in. No,
Yeah,
you can't spend that money on travel because we're on a lockdown. That type of
right.
thing. We're gonna get move on from this. Like I said, a lot more research needs to be done, a lot more talking. I don't want to get to speculating too deep, too far into it without digging into some more facts and really looking. So all of you chat chimers out there that are fact checkers and researchers, help us out. Let's dig into this and check it out, because yes, Tamika Johnson is definitely scary AF for real.
Yeah, yeah.
Feeling that.
I did also want to answer one last question.
Okay.
Mayor Sanchez mentioned gold value. He said gold deposits have something to do with the value of the dollar. And actually, to my understanding, the American dollar is actually backed by oil, which
Mm.
kind of has a lot to do with a lot of these
Yeah,
wars.
they
But
took the gold standard away a long time
yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah, it's backed by oil. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Right on. We're going to get on with it. It is 7:33 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we have our special guest waiting in the wings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to be politicking with P.
Hey,
Precious McKesson. History
Good
making
morning,
P. Good
guys.
morning. How are you?
how you doing?
I'm good. How y'all?
All right.
Hanging in there. Hanging in there. How's your
That's good.
Wednesday going so far? How's the middle of the week going for you?
It's going well. Going well. It's pushing through. Pushing through.
Good.
Okay. Okay.
Glad to
Any
hear
any updates? What you working on?
Well, we just did a FOIA request yesterday on the governor.
Mm.
Basically, just doing what they do. He Suzanne Geist resigned last week,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next day he was appointing someone. And if we know it didn't go the fair process, because normally I don't know if they interview. I don't know. It was just too fast. You
Mm-hmm.
have somebody interviewed you have somebody basically the next day. So I mean, he looks a little fishy. So we wanted, so we just did a FOIA request just to kind of, see what they're talking about, what communications they were having. One thing I will point out, we may not get anything because the governor did say back when he first started, when he was first sworn in, he was at a function, and I have to pull the recording, but we have the recording, and he literally told the people in the room, um, you know, use your personal cell phone so you don't have to worry about getting a FOIA or getting a FOIA request to release your information. So
Mm.
we already know what kind of game Ellen Pillin is playing, and
Mm.
then on top of that, he doesn't want to release his public schedule, so he's going into it to where, number one, he didn't debate. He didn't want to be on the debate stage. Now, now he doesn't want to show the public his schedule. So I'm really truly, we just got a governor in there who feel like he could just be the governor and he doesn't have to be held accountable and tell what he's doing, but he fails to realize that he is the governor for the people. And these are certain things that we should know when you're an elected official, especially the governor running the state. So we just gonna just basically see what happens, and just continue to just hold him accountable.
I'm glad of that. I got to tell you, it's interesting to me because he was in the newspaper quoting that we needed some more, we needed some another Republican in there so we can get some of these agendas. I mean, they bold enough to just be telling you that they did this shady underground backdoor dark room move of getting this person in that seat so fast. So it's not even like we got to go find out what happened because he said it. So
yeah.
Also, the Nebraska Examiner did a good job of reporting the relationship between he and
the new person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's sad. It's just we're actually in a place in this world, but then that the attack on democracy, and it's like these people feel as if they can do these things, and because they have the numbers, they're doing it. And I had Tennessee, and I had to have a laughing moment after I said the other day when brother Justin was walking back in the chamber, and I was looking, I said, damn, you have got to be something mad knowing that on Friday you fired me and you didn't read the rules, and here I am back because I will be able to be reinstated because there was a loophole that I could still be the person that they appoint back.
Yeah. I was looking at that's all I was looking at. I was looking at all the faces that were in the room that was twisted up.
And then hopefully today Justin Pearson will be he will be reinstated. But the fact that they have to put in so much money now because now they got to hold special elections. So just to be clear, just because they were appointed to a seat that they were expelled from, so basically their votes that they were voted into that no longer counts. So now they have to go into a special election to be able to hold that seat permanently. It's just all across the world, across the nation. It's an attack on democracy, and it's an attack. It's an attack on Black people.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it
Right. I mean, Jim Crowism, like it's Jim Crowism. Like I actually don't think the last time this tactic was used was the Jim Crow era.
Except for they're not even trying to keep it
They're not
low.
hiding.
They're not trying to hide nothing. Yeah.
They're not hiding it no more. It's just out in the forefront. It's just there, and it's like I don't know. It's just a point. It's like I don't even. I mean, it's like I started thinking it's like it don't even care about. You don't even have to put it. Remember when people used to put a noose in people thing, and they like, oh, it's a hate crime. Well, shit, they don't got to put a noose no more. Excuse my language. Like they just out there.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, then one of those senators that voted to expel the Justins also vote to bring back lynching in the state of Tennessee.
But they did, but then like he said, they didn't. He put them on the table. They didn't call out the one who was convicted of being a pedophile.
Or somebody peed in somebody's seat. Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. But I mean, we're sitting here, and I just want to say shout out to Senator Lane and Senator McKinney. I see that 531 is moving. I'm not gonna lie, I was very afraid of how that impact was going to happen because of the filibuster. Right. And I'll continue to say this, that I don't care, and this is Precious McKesson speaking. I want to make this very clear. I don't care what party affiliation you're with. When you start blocking legislation that impacts Black and brown communities, I got a problem.
Right.
And when you start speaking on Black and brown communities of a community that you don't even live in, just because you have friends in that community, but you have never had a lived experience, I have a problem. And I will let anybody know, I don't care what party you're affiliated with, and trust and believe the Democratic Party knows how I feel. Don't speak on something that you have never had a lived experience on.
Yeah, that was a little audacious.
Oh yeah. Trust and believe. Precious was on text message thread that day. We ain't talk. I don't think we talked since that happened.
No,
Trust and
not
believe.
about it.
I don't care who you are. I'm not gonna play that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, great thing that we got to it, and it's going to move forward. I can't wait to talk to Brother McKinney Friday and hear the backstory on all the work that had to be done there. Still not through. Like like we know that whole bill and any money coming to North Omaha's got to go through Ill and Pillins in the as far as the last step is concerned.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we there's already some real contention stuff going on there. I predicted he was going to be a little bit worse than Ricketts because of some of the things I was hearing that he was about. And just we're already moving backwards. We already had to, when Noise was around, Noise had to fight to in order to be able to go cover what Ricketts was talking about. Now we're not getting no schedule no more about where Pillen's going to be at in order to cover him.
Mhm.
And he's just going to avoid. He's going backwards on that. So
Mhm.
so there's already things I feel like he's going backwards on. And it's going to be a trip how we're going to work with him. It's going to be a trip.
Mhm.
Well, so yeah, I'm very proud of you guys for going ahead and putting something in place there to challenge
Yeah.
him, and we'll see how that goes. A couple little, like I say, a couple little good news today. It's been so rough all week long. I'm just like, well, at least one of the Justins is in Tennessee, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
about
531.
33, 32 is going through.
Hmm. But I am curious. So with the FOIA request, like if they do actually respond and you do get some information, what's on the back end? Are you going to petition for application process or what? You just want to know?
Yeah, we can't discuss the rest of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can respect that. I can respect that. It's a process. I can respect the
Yes, it's a
process.
process. It's kind of
But okay.
it really depends on what we see. What we see when we get it back. If we see anything, we don't
Hmm.
know.
And also furthermore, as far as the DED, again,
Yeah.
Governor Pillen has to appoint somebody for that position now that Tony Goins is gone. Is that a similar process? Is there an application process that's supposed to happen for that as well?
I don't I don't think so because I think because that's a cabinet position, I think
Okay.
he can just appoint. I mean again, but I don't know how that
Hmm.
goes. But I would think I think that is a cabinet position. So I think he
Hmm.
appoints just like he would appoint someone from the Department of Health and Human Services. So
Right.
I don't know their process um on that part.
But it is worth noting, though, that the moves that this bill has to make, and again, for those of you that don't that need a reminder on that, 531 is as an extension of that 1024 ARPA funds that are coming in. They wanted to change where where that money was coming from, so we can have more time to be able to spend it, and that's what 531 was about. So they're moving it along, but it still has to go through DED,
Yep.
which like we just talked about the whole controversy with Tony Goins and Pillen having to assign somebody, so it's got to go through them first. Then it still has to get signed off by Pillen. I know about at least those two steps, which feel real uphill battle.
Yeah. I
So
mean, all the way until the check gets cut, it's gonna be contention. So, we'll keep an eye on it.
yeah, I want to jump into the chat, but I don't really know what you guys is talking about here a little bit. Tony Johnson 12 is saying, can you talk more on the posting about Nebraska Democrats and not ADA compliant?
No, I
Uh,
won't be talking about it.
okay, how does this impact of those who? Okay, that's the same extension to that question.
Yeah, I just want
Von, mhm.
can I just say reason why I'm not going to speak about it because there's legal issues that are involved and because I continue to be threatened by people wanting to file Department of Justice. I'm going to let the legal team that we have spoken to and who has been handling this handle that, and I am very much so confident after yesterday's call with our top officials that we are compliant in the way that we are supposed to be, and more information will be coming. And the fact that false information is being
Mm.
used, and I'm just going to say this: before the before COVID hit in 2020, we had no virtual options
Hmm.
for any type of political. That's for um, That is for nationally, locally, county level.
Oh, really?
And
Nationally too? Wow.
yes. And so when COVID hit, they ended up introducing a platform to be able to allow virtual because we were in a state of emergency, a nation of emergency, so
Mm-hmm.
that business could go. So um, I'm gonna let the people who get paid the big bucks take care of it. I'm very much so aware of the ADA. I support the ADA. I support anybody with disabilities who need access. I support the access, and I support reasonable accommodations. That's what I'll say on that one.
So, and you don't have to answer this, but this is the first time I'm hearing anything about it, and
Yeah.
we have an opinion. Um, First of all, let me get this clear. So there's an anonymous complaint or there's some kind of complaint that the Democratic Party, or is this directly towards you?
It
Because it sounds like, is this another is this yet another African American
well,
leader being attacked? Is
well,
this yet
well,
is this another
let me
Tony
just say this.
Goins situation?
Let me just say this. When it first started, I was being empathetic, and because my brother is a quadriplegic, and I've been his caregiver for over 14 years, and he lives in my home. So
That's what
again,
I'm like.
I'm very much
Somebody's
so
accusing
aware
you.
of ADA, and I was basically accused of being personally. It was a personal, like I was accused of basically um I can't remember the words that was used, but basically I was basically told that I cannot speak for someone who is in I cannot be a voice for the person who is a person who has a disability. That's like saying if a white person said I have a black friend. That's basically in layman's terms what I was told. And
Wow.
then in that time, um the continuous like back and forth and emails, but that day in December, um on my personal social media, I blocked this person. I deleted because I was like, that's toxic, and I don't want. And this person doesn't have shouldn't have access to me. If you feel that way, when I was being empathetic, and then from there, the filings of code of conducts and the filings of threatening to go to the Department of Justice, the human rights, different things. And so I'm going to let them. I will just say a
Hmm.
code of conduct was filed. A code of conduct review was done. It was unfounded. Um, and after speaking with legal officials and talking about it, I'm very confident that with the things that we have done, you know are not violating. But again, I'm gonna let them handle the process. And yeah, just really, again, I believe in always having reasonable accommodations. I feel like we can have these conversations, but they don't have to have with attacks, because again, I don't want don't try to dehumanize me when you're trying to get something. I'm a person, I'm a human, I have love for people, and I want to be able to help anybody. And so that's why now I'm letting it go to the area that it's going in, and I will let them handle it. And again, every day I wake up, I don't even think about it. I saw the complaint, and I'll just say this. There is and I'll drop it in there right now. There is, 'cause I know Tony Johnson's asking this question. There is a open comment period going on right now in regards to our delegate selection plan. Once I'm
Mm.
done with this call, I'll drop that in there. For 30 days, you have enough time. You have the time to read our delegate selection plan, and you can put in public comment if you think something is missing. And this is for the national convention. I just want this to be very clear. This is
Wow.
the thing. So many people are so quick to jump on us and don't even know the process of what we're talking about. We're talking
Mhm.
about a delegate selection plan that's electing delegates to the national convention, the
Mm.
national convention. Then we have a process where you have the state convention. So again, there is process to these things, and there's rules that come from national and different things. And so I just feel like people just need to take a little bit more time to really get in the weeds of it, but then ask the questions without feeling that you're attacking. Don't attack. Ask the
Mhm.
questions. So right now, there's a 30-day waiting period. A 30-day open comment period for people who have suggestions for how the national convention, how the delegate selection plan or the convention should be run in order to elect delegates to the national convention. So I'll drop that in there. It'll connect you to the delegate selection plan for you to read it. And I just want people just to really just do. These are the options you have. Nothing's being withheld. No information's being withheld. I'm just,
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of even more than I, even wanted you to explain. But thank you for that. I don't really want to even harp on this situation, but I do want to point out that just to me, it's very interesting that we're seeing again Dr. Cheryl Logan mysteriously step down. I forget the sister's name, but again, the leader of the Omaha Chamber of Commerce stepped
I ain't
down.
going nowhere.
Tony
I'm gonna
Goins.
tell that right now. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Hopefully not. But again, just the fact that somebody is out trying and yet another more unbased attacks and just anonymous complaints towards another black leader, quote unquote black leader. Like, what is really going on? And the fact that this is an ADA complaint about you, like the person who's trying to get everybody to vote. Like, why would you not want why would you not want anybody to not have access? Your whole life is getting people to vote and giving people access. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I'm not. I mean, everybody knows my plan. Like after the 2024 election, December of 2024, I will make a decision on my next step and what I do. And so, you got me for another.
Not going nowhere.
I ain't going nowhere. When I leave, I'm leaving on my terms, and everybody already knows. I just hit 5 years with the party. I will leave at 6.5 years, and that would, God willing, that long as I'm able to breathe and move, my goal is to get through this presidential election. Because see, there's not many people that can say they have 2 midterms and 2 presidentials underneath their belt.
Right.
I got some more business to take care of for 2024. I just want to let y'all know that. So when I leave out, trust and believe, baby, I'm leaving out with a bang. I got some business to take care of. So yeah, I'm not going
History
nowhere.
making P.
There you go.
I ain't going nowhere.
That's what's up.
There you go.
Beautiful thing. Can we switch a little bit over to
Yeah, go ahead.
we still trying to get some answers on who's gonna run for what? We getting too close to it to not know what's really happening. Get behind. No, we're not.
No, we're not. This is the thing. So a lot of so so on a national level, a lot of the areas have been restructured. I will say, if recently the Nebraska District 2 was put on the hot. It's one of the top 31 seats that is being targeted to be flipped. That is amazing for that to come out so early. Normally, a flipping a red to blue is normally that comes out once the candidate is like out there but this came before a candidate has announced. Many people are in the works, but again, we don't have the authority, and we never want to announce someone's candidacy before they have the option to do that. That's the respect,
Yeah.
And so we have another election on May 2nd in Lincoln, the mayoral, and I can assure you, once June and July hit, you're going to start to see a lot of the candidates come out and announce.
Yeah.
I am confident that we have great quality candidates, and we continue to recruit. We continue to talk to candidates. I have a few calls this week with some people to talk about possibly running. Definitely want to make sure that we have a diverse and we have representation. I will tell you, it's hard sometimes. You get all these random. I get random requests all the time. Like, I'm gonna run for office. I'm gonna run for this, and I start to look. And I'm like, okay. One thing I never want to do, and I never will do, is tell a person that they can't run. But what I will do is give them the facts and the pros and the cons to what it takes to run. I will be honest with them. I'm not going to sell you this snow globe. Say, oh, if you shake it, this was going. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to basically tell you what you're up against, and it's up to that person at that time to make that decision. But I'll be honest, because I look at it like this, and I say this, and I say this. This is my personal view. Out of all the experience that I have and all the networking that I have not thrown my name on a ballot because I know what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's polling that's done, that there's groups that do polling on name recognition. And I have some of the top name recognition across the state. And I still haven't put my name out there because I know what it takes. And so I'm honest to people with that. If I haven't done it, it's not that I'm scared. I just know what I'm up against when I do that as a Black woman. So I just want to make sure that, you know, people understand that it's not me saying don't do it. It's just saying this, look at the big picture, because this is what you're going to be up against. And are you ready to do that fight? And so
Well, here's another part about that though. So you are not putting your name in because you know what it takes. And without giving us any names, like you just explained, do you feel like there's some candidates in there that it's okay that you didn't put your name in there because there's some other strong ones in there that can handle?
Yeah. Is there anybody who has what it takes?
yes, they do. And there's a lot of people that I feel have what it takes. And sometimes, it's a lot. It comes behind it. Number one, I'll tell you one thing that comes behind it is that being, and this is again me talking about as a person of color, running for office and being able to still provide for your family. That is a big, 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 big issue. I think that's the biggest issue of all. Nothing else matters. Nothing else but being able to take care of your family and pay your bills. That is the biggest hardship and the biggest hurdle that I see when it comes to getting people of color to run. And then you look at, when you're looking at running for instance, legislature, that job only pays $12,000 a year. So in certain cases, I'll use me as an example, me as a prime example. So Precious wants to run for office. This is just hypothetically. As soon as I announce, because of how our bylaws or our bylaws are set up with the party, I would instantly have to resign from my job.
Mm-hmm.
That I just can't resign from my job. I don't have a second income. I don't have a, a year's worth of savings to say, oh, I can run and I can live off of this savings and be able to pay everything I need to pay my living, my housing, my kid to go to college. I don't have that. And so that's when you start looking for, are there employers that will allow you to run for office and still be employed with them, because then now you have to realize that you're strict. Your hours are 8 to 5, and then you can only campaign in the evenings or on the weekends when you're off work, because you can't campaign during your work hours. So those are the things that goes through people's head, through candidates' head, because these are the things you can't campaign full time. So it's a lot.
That sounds like it begs to, I wonder what other people are doing. Well, first of all, there's, like you said, there's people that are able to not have to work or have some savings or married to somebody who's got some money or whatever the deal is in order for them to be able to be in there doing what they do. And that definitely means that there's some classism stuff going on in there where people are getting left out.
Read my mind, bro.
Because you can't, if you can't afford to do it, then what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So
Man,
it makes me. I'm going through the Rolodex in my mind of all the people that I know that are on sitting in them seats. Like, I know Justin Wayne is a lawyer and he has a construction company. I know brother Terrell McKinney worked about 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? I know the brothers.
But it's still a struggle to still, because remember, they're not doing that full time. So it's still running to it.
And that's what I'm learning. This is the first time that I'm learning this session is really how extensive of a job it is too. If we just talking about the legislature, like, as much as you got to be up there, as much as you working late, as much as you getting up early, as much as you are sitting on the weekends reading all this stuff and trying to comprehend it. I mean, it's more than a full-time job.
I can tell you this, and I know Senator Wayne will have no problem telling this, but Senator Wayne has had to leave and check out of even when I was his staffer, would have to check out of the legislature and drive to Omaha for a hearing, and then he would have to come back. So he did that trip. He did 4 trips there and back because he had to leave to go and represent somebody in court. And matter of fact, he just did it recently. I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago, and I said, what you doing? He was like, I'm on my way back to Lincoln. He said, I had to go up here and have to do a hearing, and now I got to get back to the legislature because we're still in night session. So you have senators who do that. Even though, I don't want to say, I don't know any other senators do it. I know Senator Wayne does it, but that's dedication.
Well, I'm thinking you just reminded me, back when brother Skurlock was murdered. Justin Wayne was the lawyer for the Skurlock family, so he was dealing with the Skurlock family. He's dealing with all the backlash over the Freedom Summer marches. I saw him out there rallying. You were at Memorial Park, and he was out there rallying. So he would go to the rallies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were able to. That was the first time we was able to shut down 72nd, and y'all know 72nd is a highway. Yeah, that's because it's a highway. And we shut that down in both ways. So let me tell you,
I never forget Leo Lewis coming around that corner with that bullhorn and all them people behind him walking
I was
up.
Right there. I actually have that picture. Somebody took an aerial view picture, and matter of fact, I need to put that back as my cover photo. There's an aerial picture of all of us when we're coming up over the hill, and Leo's there. You got, and then it's a very powerful picture.
I love it.
I was very proud to be. I was very honored to be a part of that with JJ Shannon and Leo and Justin. I think Jasmine. There was a picture we were all on the top of the. Even though I did not like the picture but it wasn't about how I was looking. But
it was a very bad angle. Ain't catch a good side.
But it was a very powerful picture with us on the top, and we all had our fists up, and it was one of the most powerful pictures that I've ever had. But again, it was not the best angle. But again, it wasn't about that angle at that time. We was there on a mission.
Right. We got to get some of those printed out and blown up because it was legendary. I was just thinking about it, buddy. I got some footage. I was over there with a camera. Never did nothing with the footage. So
see, man. See.
That's a beautiful moment, man. Now we think about, even though we were there for a very tragic. But the fact that we came together and we had not one issue.
Yeah, it was powerful, and it just and at that was right as I was getting to know just Brother Wayne and understand, and even then I understood him to. We had a mutual friend that worked at a construction company that he had, so I would see him out of the job and then running back to go do something with the Skurlock family. And then, and I didn't know at the time about him running back to the legislature, but now I get it because I'm learning about all this stuff that's going on. It's 8:03 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're going to bring in our second special guest. But first, I'm going to jump into the chat real quick. Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Amy H. says, is it legal for campaign funds to make up that lack of income for them to be supported?
No, actually you can depending on how you file it. There's some, I think I know when they're running on the federal level, you can actually pay yourself a salary out of and I can't say on local because I don't know on the state level, but I know on the federal level you can pay yourself a salary as you're running for office. So I know on the federal level you can. I can't speak on the. It's funny. I'm very versed in the federal laws, but not the state.
Yeah. Tamika Johnson says, "Real talk. I'll never forget Mean Jean saying she will win because she has the money."
Yeah, remember that?
And she did. Yes,
remember that?
Can I say something real quick? Because Tony Johnson had a comment down there, and I don't want to ignore that comment because you see it. You see it, Paul?
Yeah, I see
you
it.
can tell by running.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I see it now. I missed that. Sorry about that. Go ahead. You want to?
So I'll just say this. Yeah, I'll just say this. It's not, and I don't know who he's referring to. If he wants to, one thing that happens when you run for office, and I'll say this, even not even run for office, or even when you're working in the political arena, you should always clean your social media. Not only clean your social media. I'm a block queen. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. If you on Twitter going back and forth with me, trust and believe I'm on Facebook blocking you. But only public platform that I have is my Twitter and my Politicin with P page.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. As a person who works in politics, and somebody called me, somebody like, "Well, you're a politician," so I'll say, "Okay, I'm a politician, I'm not an elected official, but okay, I'll take it." But this is the thing that people have to understand. I don't, me personally, don't have to give you access to me for you to, for anybody to then turn around and attack me on things that I said. You know,
Very true.
um, so I am, and again, people do clean up, and it is known, and I think the person that Pillin appointed did clean up her social media.
Well, I think
People
everybody over
watch.
there got to do that, right?
People watch that stuff, and so yes,
Yeah.
people do. But I mean, I think it's more of a thing that, I mean, it's something that you do. I mean, because
Yeah.
the last thing you want is, at the end of the day, if you've done something, that's whatever's done in the dark will come to light. That's how I look at it.
Very
It
true.
will come to light. So cleaning up your social media, trying to change how you talk and how you look, it's still, you can't hide behind. Look at George Santos. You can't hide behind a suit. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, I'm authentically precious. What you see is what you get.
I hear that, and we're running into
I love God.
we're running into Kimara's time a little bit, and because this is another woman who's authentically Kimara. Very, ladies and gentlemen, what's good in the hood? Kimara Snipes. Good morning to you.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Precious was responding to Tony Johnson 12's comment in YouTube. For those of you on Facebook that can't see that, he says you can tell who thinking about running when they change how they talk in public and when they start blocking people on social media. So that was a
yeah,
comment to that.
cleaning it up.
Kimara, first of all, how are you?
I'm a little tired. I was in Lincoln last night and I'm a little tired. I can't
Okay.
inform what's going on. I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back home.
You're ready to go to sleep already. As a person who has run, did you have to clean your social media up? No, I'm just saying, I ain't gonna put you on blast like that. But
No,
what was your experience on running, on getting attacked, on all the things that happens when is when you were running and trying to be a leader here? What kind of stuff were you running into?
so one thing I would tell myself, and actually as I've been listening to y'all, I've been kind of wondering, like, is that right? Because part of me is like, it kind of comes with the territory, but then there's this also thing about protecting your space, right?
Yeah.
I have I grew up with the Spivey family, right? So because of that, I have a unique ability to deal with really difficult people, right? And so that's what my campaign manager told me all the time. He's like, Kimber, you have a really unique ability to deal with it. He meant I could deal with crazy folks, right? And so, and I think that's always been the case with me. I think, no shade to my family, but come on. But I think that's always been the case. I think I take things kind of like with a grain of salt, because here's the thing, and this, I've been thinking about empathy a lot lately with what's happening in the state legislature, with just everything. And you take these assessments to tell you if you're an empath or not, and I am. And that's really literally trying to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? Because I'm a firm believer that even when dealing with our mayor who grinds my gears, I tell myself, this person is the way they are for a reason. And it's usually something that happened a long time ago, right? And so I try to remind myself of that. The spiritual person in me says it's not the person, it's the spirit behind the person. You know what I'm saying? And so I try to remember that when I'm dealing with people. And I try to really just practice a lot of empathy with people, which also takes a lot of patience. And sometimes we don't always have that. And I try to acknowledge that with people. But I didn't really have a whole lot of attacking me, I guess. But then again, maybe it's just something I didn't pay attention to. I mean, I grew up by Bryan High School where, I was 10 years old walking to the store and people calling me the N-word. You know what I'm saying? People taking baseball bats and beating the windows off my car and stuff. So I've dealt with stuff. So maybe it's just a thing of that stuff don't even really matter. But I don't remember dealing with a lot of just super negativity. If anything, I think I might have gotten more stuff from folks who look like me than other folks. So
That's one thing I tell you I really love about our people, black folks. We can very quickly say, I ain't worried about you. Forget
Oh yeah.
later for that. Later for that.
yeah, I just wonder if it's healthy, but.
I think it's very healthy. I find
Yeah.
myself helping my white friends with this out all the time because they seem to really, really, really care about what everybody thinks of them all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah,
leave that. Them
You
people
know,
don't matter.
that.
I think
You're right
that
about
is a
that.
big. I think I just got to that point. I would say in the last maybe 3 years,
Mm.
because I used to always internalize what people thought about me, and I'd be like,
No,
why do they
no,
feel
wait a
this
minute.
way?
No, what people? Everybody or our people or us?
Our people.
Okay.
I don't care what nobody else think about me. I'll be honest with you.
Well, that's my point. I still
Yeah.
we. It's not that we don't care about what people think. It's just who are the people that we talking about.
Well, before let me be before it used to be all people, not just our people. It would be
Right.
all, because I was like, well, dang, what did I do to them? Like, why do they feel this way? But then, like Kimmer just said, it's the spirit behind the spirit. Like, and so then you have to realize, like, people once when people don't know who you are, know how who you are as a human being, they're easy to judge you, and they're easy to have these views of you. And but now, like, I mean, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't bother me anymore. And I know sometimes I don't know. I know sometimes. I mean, I think last week was a prime example. Like my facial expressions. Like, I was like, it is what it is. Kimber had to check on me last week. She had to text. She texted me early in the morning on Thursday. Say, hey, I was making sure you good. I don't know if she could see the steam, but I wasn't standing up. The steam was coming out. I was like a little pressure cooker. And I was
Yeah,
just
it was definitely written all over her face. I was like, ooh, I'm just gonna check on her tomorrow.
Yes.
Leave her alone right now.
Marianne Williams in the chat says, "Good morning, all. Love you, P. Love you, K. Thanks for your perspectives on all the crazy we're experiencing. Yeah, very much appreciate that. Lots going on. Kimra, I want to hear. But so you went to Lincoln yesterday.
I did. They
Tell
had
us.
a candidate forum for they're having elections right now for city council and mayor, and I went down there, which was a good thing. I connected with like the Lincoln League of Women Voters, and because we're at work, we're working on our. I spent 4 hours yesterday with my team over here at the building in North Omaha, just working on this 2024 organizing plan. But went down there to the candidate forum, and it was really interesting. I'm always just like impressed with Lincoln. I really am. And they have some things going on that I think are just really, really neat. And I think the biggest thing that I walked away with was she has their first, I believe, Black male city attorney. And he's also, I believe, the youngest. He was formerly a public defender, which I thought was very interesting.
That's dope.
Their police department has a homelessness liaison and an LGBTQ liaison. I don't believe we have that. I think she said 50% of her board or cabinet and whatnot is women. Yep. I think she said Lincoln has a 4% Black population and 9% of her cabinet is Black. They have less than 1% Native or Indigenous peoples in Lincoln, and she said 1.3% of her team is. And so it told me a lot about just how the current mayor feels about representation. They have a fairness ordinance that they started. One of their city council people has a town hall every month at the local library. So I just was very.
We've been asking for that for years.
Man, it's just how does Lincoln, become increasingly like the most progressive city in the state? Please do tell. But we always make comment. It just seems like Lincoln is so far ahead of Omaha, and it's just like how
they have a city council person who is involved with neighborhood associations. It's a person who's running for city council. I'm sorry.
So
I guess.
Go ahead, tell us, Precious.
They have one of the. Because I work with them every day, and as we're investing a lot of money is going into these campaigns because of what they're up against when it comes to Suzanne Geis for mayor. But just the city of Lincoln by itself, they have I think they've had a Democratic mayor in office since the 90s. So they've always they have always been. And then the Democrats hold the majority on their commissioners as well as on their city council. But the work that they do there, all the stuff that Kimara just mentioned, I mean, they are doing awesome work. The mayor,
Yeah.
she is really investing in her, especially in women there. I mean, and doing the work. Their city council's doing it. Now, not to say that it's not perfect. They've had some hiccups. Trust and believe. They've had some hiccups. But they had to get it together, and and really the people of Lincoln really make their voices heard. And then not only do they make they listen to the people. Unlike
Yeah.
Mean Jean, she don't listen. She just says it's my way or the highway.
Right.
That's how she looks at it. And then she pinpoints people who basically have to have her views. This is Jean Stothard, which is kind of crazy, because there's people that look like me who to change their party affiliation to Republican. Let me shut up.
So this is interesting to me because we've been talking about this for a while on the show, story after story about some cool thing that Lincoln is doing. We always are like, how is Lincoln ahead of Omaha on this? And we've said that many times throughout the last 2 or 3 seasons. I'm getting what it is. It's the leadership
Right.
is providing a certain kind of spirit in the city.
And also
Where
to leadership, right?
So I was thinking about like UNL. How UNL was putting that stuff in place that Pete Ricketts was trying to fight him over.
Yeah, and Pillin.
Right, and Pillin too, right. It's like the spirit of the city you can see is kind of top, is kind of leadership down, and then on top of that, the key I think is really what you just said, Precious, which is like they listen to their constituents, and they try to we got a higher percentage of black folks here in Omaha. They only got 4% black folks in Lincoln, and it seems like way more progressive, way more.
I'm to add to it, 'cause I'm a move.
So you're about to add to it. We've been working a little bit on trying to on a partnership with some folks that are doing some work out in Lincoln, just so we can get that Lincoln connection happening, because we don't got to look far for some.
Jazari Kazal's he's from Lincoln.
Oh, I didn't know Jazari was in Lincoln.
Yes, he's from Lincoln. Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah, there's a few Lincolnites that are in the chat.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we definitely partner with them on stuff. Keep that connection really, really strong there, because some of that stuff needs to kind of trickle down around here. But also, I love the fact that that there's a lot of, even I'm just thinking like even Freedom Summer. Then in 2020, there was a lot of Lincolnites that came down, marched with us in Omaha. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not just people, it's not just the leadership, but it's also the people.
Can I just point out also, because I just want to point out that Susan Geis did not come to that forum last night.
Oh, okay.
I just want that to be very known. After she resigned from her position as a legislator, to say that she wanted to focus more on her campaign, and you don't go to the NAACP and the church and the forum where they're talking about communities of color, and you don't show up.
Well, I mean, she's telling what it's all telling.
I just wanted to say that.
But I am curious, what is the significance of those races in your opinions, as far as just in general, the political landscape of Nebraska, of Lincoln, especially ahead of the 2024 election? Again, you said city council and mayor; those are the 2 positions.
City council, mayor, and I think in their airport authority and school board. So they have
okay.
Yeah.
School board. That's okay. That's definitely a big one that we've been looking out for. So just kind of what are you looking at? I know, Precious, you say you're doing some work with those a little bit, and then Kimara, you were just down in Lincoln. So both of you, whoever want to go first.
Let's say you, Kimara.
Oh, okay. So how do I feel about the race, and
just what's significance?
City elections, local elections, period, to me are just the most significant. I think that's where most of the decision making that's really, really affecting us happens. Unfortunately, last night when I was there were several people who weren't there last night, as far as people who were running for office, including Suzanne Geist. We were at Mount Zion, but the room was very white. It was very much probably 55 and above. And so really for me, what I'm really thinking about is what I was just capturing while I was in that room. And it just speaks back to, the need to really, really focus on young people. I think that there are issues happening in Nebraska right now that can be used to really, really just energize people. I think that's what's missing, is that people are not energized and don't have that momentum, but it's coming, right? There are so many things happening right now. They're coming down the pipeline where I know we hate to talk about bad things and opportunity within that, but there is opportunity when bad things happen, especially when you are an organizer. I told my team yesterday, like, we have opportunities right now to really, really seize what's happening and use that to energize people. So for me, it's just speaking more to the goals. What was speaking to me last night was also like messaging. As I'm listening to what the issues are, what was coming up, young people constantly leaving Lincoln. People just leaving in droves. There were a lot of questions about the LGBTQ community and representation. There were questions around mental health services. I thought it was interesting that the city and the county, they have this 50-50 split for like their youth diversion program, which was interesting to me. So it also speaks to just like Precious said, I think it shows that they are actually like listening to people, and not just listening, but like actively listening to people. So I'm really trying to process what I took in last night and think about how can we use this information to feed it into the planning we're doing in a nonpartisan fashion for 2024. But oh, Siri think I'm talking to her. But it's very interesting, and they do have some things going on, like with the wilderness property and whatnot. But I saw last night listening, I saw that she's interested in representation. I didn't see a lot of people of color represented in the audience, which was unfortunate to me in Mount Zion Baptist Church. But I think that speaks to what's happening everywhere. So we really, we did some data at work, and we showed where a lot of the contact has been happening in Nebraska with the members that we work with. And majority of it is like white people like 60 and up. And that's a problem. We got to be contacting people who look like us, people who are younger. I'm sending one of my staff members, he left this morning to Chicago to go to this research meeting around youth, because we need this information. We got to strategize. You know what I'm saying? So we're focusing on that 18 to 34-year-old group. And that's what we're really, really focusing on. And I think that, I think a lot. And so, yeah, I'll keep going and going.
So Geist would be the first Republican in the seat for many years. How long did you say? You said back to the 90s. It's been
man, it's been a minute. Because Beitler, then you had it's been a minute. Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere she already got 100. Say again.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. I think I read somewhere that she already got 100 grand from Ricketts.
Well, no, she's raised. So this campaign. So on my end of what I do, I'm focused on, with all these campaigns, on the mailing piece and the turnout, and so how we are getting voters, those younger voters. And so literally that campaign has had over $1.25 million invested just in Suzanne Geist, and that's from the Pete family as well as the Ricketts family. And so the Pete family is one who owns the Sand Hill. So what they've done, they've bought out every single billboard in the city. Like, they've invested on this thing. But they had two Republicans that ran in the primary. So yes, Lyrian did have a high number than both of them, but then you have to look at, once the other Republican candidate endorses the other one, that base moves to the
those numbers combined
to the other candidate. So just the other day, as we were preparing, today, actually, a voter guide drops to about 50,000 households in Lincoln. And one of my main focuses that we were looking at was making sure that list had a targeted audience of young voters. Like, that was something I was like, we have to make sure that young people are receiving the mailers that we're sending. Every day I'm approving mailers, I'm approving graphics, I'm approving postage, like, to make sure that this stuff is going out on time. So for the next 20 something days, that's all my focus is making sure that the persuasion mail, the mail for the base, the mail, anything that we're in promoting the candidates is going out. So all that's from city council, school board, whoever wants, that's what I'm doing. And so with that, I mean it's hard because again you're up against all this money. But at the end of the day, you talk about the issues that are impacting the community and that are and what and the things that you're doing, and not the negativity. There is negative mail, I'll be honest with you, I am going to hit a negative mail piece. I feel like they've done some negative mail, so I will hit some negative mail pieces that will go out. I think I'm gonna do two. They're gonna go out, and it is what it is. They can do what they want. They can say what they want to say, because that's what they've done. But I mean, that's coming from the party. We feel that we want to talk about the things that Suzanne Geis is not doing, and this is a lot of work. But like Kimra said, you have the top university with so many young people. Like and the thing is, you have access. Campaigns have access to. I mean, they should have access to these universities because Turning Point USA lit drops everything in the student union. I get so many pictures. This was dropped in the student union today. This was dropped in here. So you have to really tap into those young people. But then also a lot of the young people who are maybe not from who may not be from Nebraska or from Lincoln. Right. Sometimes they don't re-register at their dorms. They still are registered where they live at, in their home state or their hometown and stuff. So
very true. Very true.
That's kind of why I brought up, and we've talked about in the past, like the young Republicans, and because you kind of do see more of those efforts and more of those processes and pipelines sort of set up. In my opinion, from Republicans, you do see more, kind of succession planning, if you will. On the Republican side, as far as just how they move, and yeah, I think Democrats should definitely, I would say, and however we can help at First Sky, trying to engage more with the youth and get more diverse voters.
Yeah.
Coming up on the half hour here, so 8:27 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you got any questions for Precious and Kimber, please put them in the chat. I'm going to go jump to the chat real quick. Marianne Williams says, "I'm not looking for perfection, but feel we need to keep pushing for better in Lincoln. The difference is in Lincoln we have a better chance of improvement." That's cold, man. Vaughn Chapman says over on Facebook, "The difference between the mayor of Omaha and the mayor of Lincoln is the mayor of Omaha continually perpetuating this illusion of inclusion. There are some black folks who change their party to help the mayor of Omaha continue her facade." Woo,
man.
Woo. You got some snaps. You say again.
I keep thinking about the mayor went and not battle with it. I agree with Vaughn. I'm thinking the mayor perpetuates it, but then I'm thinking like, these people that get put in these positions perpetuate it too. But then, you hear from them and there is this like real sort of fear of like losing their position. Now, in my mind, you know what I'm saying? Like when I got fired from the library, I knew it was going to happen as soon as I sent that email. Because for me, I'm saying, the way I am built is like, you can keep your money because I'm going to stand on righteousness, but that can be fearful, especially if you're making, $100,000 a year, right? So I guess I kind of see it both ways, but I feel like, we got these people in these positions, you know what I'm saying? And you see what's happening when I have to email you as the DEI person for the mayor and say, why are you holding a job fair for you way out here at some police training place where there ain't no bus stop and you supposed to be doing DEI? What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? So like, I battle with it a little bit, but I think that, there's a large part of me that hears Ajamal Bynum in my brain saying, you got to start saying stuff. When we see this stuff, we got to call it out. And Kimara Snipes is getting closer and closer to where I'm just tired of biting my tongue. And if it needs to be said, it just needs to be said in a tactful and diplomatic way. But, it's time out for like BS. I'm just getting tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, she holds that. I think Kimber said she holds that leverage. She holds that leverage, or that you won't have this job, and people are so. I don't know what they're fat. I don't know if it's like the lifestyle that they live, or I don't know, but it's like you are sacrificing so much in your for the people that really need things because because this job of yours, because if you say something, you're fearful that you're going to be retaliated against or fired. But you're put in these positions to be able to speak. You're supposed to be speaking for the people in these positions. That's what I just
Thank
don't
you.
get.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's
Thank
tough
you.
because we don't get elevated. You know what I'm saying? And so when it happens, you want to hold on to that. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I totally get it. So it's a battle.
But
And
that's the problem.
they scared to talk to me in public.
But I do want to address Kimara as a fellow empath, because I'm an empath as well. Like I'm there. I can be very, very empathetic. But when we're talking about people who are put in position to get things done, and you're talking about they're not getting things done because they want to keep that position, then it's like, what are we? Then you don't deserve the position, you know. And I understand being empathetic, but we can't give people, too much of the benefit of the doubt, especially when they're not being empathetic about the people they're supposed to be representing. What put yourself in the position of the people who don't have representation.
Yeah.
And I want to go ahead and leave it at that thought, because I think that's a very powerful thing that Von Chapman says. We're all resonating with that very strongly, and need to go think about that and go talk to our people. These are the people. Some of these people's in our families.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
I can personally say,
So-
I got a couple cousins I can think of.
There you go. Let's go ahead. It's about 8:31. He gonna put his cousins on blast with stuff. Hey, cuz, get it together, man. I know you voted for Trump. What's wrong with you? 8:31 right now. If you believe the concept of time, you got any last words for us, Precious?
No, just basically just be good to yourself and just continue the fight, and and like I say, speak up. And
Man,
Don't hold your tongue. Don't bite your tongue.
no.
no, and if you're in Lincoln this weekend, from 1 to 3 at the Democratic Party headquarters and the Lancaster County Democratic Party headquarters, we're all in the same building, 3701 O Street. We will be hosting a yard sign event where all the candidates will be there. We'll have yard signs lit, voter guides, whatever you need to get involved. Definitely come by, and we'll be there from 1 to 3. And I think that's all I have for Lincoln.
Y'all gonna have some
Saturday?
Y'all gonna have some
Saturday.
snacks?
No, because it's a drive-through. It's a yard sign drive-through party. So people rolling through, we putting them in their car and they going.
You can put snacks in the drive-through. Kimmer, you got some kind of words?
It's a drive-through.
Goodie bag.
Look, fat man asking where the snacks at. What's going on?
Where the snacks at?
Kimmer, I'm gonna send somebody to go up there too. They go get that yard sign and be like, "Where are the snacks?" I thought Kimmer, you got some final words for us?
When I was driving in, y'all were talking about the Cash App stuff, right? And I was thinking, even though I know y'all, we need to be inviting like our Congress representative, our U.S. Senate representatives on these shows like we do Justin Wayne and them. And that's something I was thinking about. And then, and I know I try to, as the president of an alliance and having been an elected official, I try to maintain these relationships with these folks. And so I have tried my best to maintain this relationship with Congressman Bacon. So if you would like to invite him, I could connect you with his dude. And he might come up, you know what I'm saying? He might.
Listen,
but then I also
Bacon calls us all the time trying to get on. He calls he has his aide call us and be like, "We said he wanted to come on the show." Listen, when we're ready for it.
But we definitely might have to ask about this FEDNOW.
They might have some answers to. You know what I'm saying? But then also with the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance, I'm elevating it again. We're getting ready for our banquet, which is wonderful. At our last meeting, Schmaderer's brother comes to our meeting to present the reports for the Southeast Precinct. And he mentioned to me something about, is it the Youth Detention Center or something that has a new director? But I guess that person, something like that. He was talking to me and I get kind of iffy talking to him. And so I was like listening, but also trying to go at the same time. And so I'm just honest, like I just feel my spirit be like, And so he was saying that this person was interested in coming to present at the meeting. And so he might be coming to the next South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance meeting, which is the first Thursday of May. So I just wanted to put that out there. He won't be presenting because you got to ask me first. You can't just come. You got to get on the agenda. But I just wanted to elevate that. And we're still looking for a co-secretary and co-treasurer. So please holler at me. It's a very good opportunity.
Still got job positions. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. All of that what you just
These are volunteer. President don't get paid. We do have a paid position, but we're looking for a co-secretary and treasurer. We already have a secretary and treasurer. We want to be able to have two people, so it's easier since it is volunteer.
Do y'all provide snacks at least?
Provide some snacks.
Yeah,
Snacks,
where the cookies
Where the cookies and stuff. Precious, what did you had one more thing you said?
Two things. First, people, we are in as a neighborhood person. I was driving through my neighborhood yesterday. We're at the time of
spring
where
cleanup.
Kids are we got spring cleanup coming up on April 22nd in North Omaha. I'll post those. I think they're on the thing. But the one thing I want y'all to actually look at is we're the time where kids are outside playing. We want the kids to be outside, get that fresh air. So I'm just gonna say, as you're driving through your neighborhoods, slow down because kids are running. Kids are happy to be outside and it's warm outside now. So just please be mindful. And I say this because yesterday I was driving and these little kids were running in the yard and it looked like she was going full speed and she didn't have that traction to stop on that grass, but she was gonna go in the street. And I was like, but I'm looking, so I'm slowing up. So I'm just saying, just kind of be mindful as the kids are outside playing, slow down in your neighborhoods. And then also wanted to say, last week we had our Salute to State Senators event, and it was very successful. I enjoyed myself, even though I was a pressure cooker at certain points. But I just want to shout out one thing that I do as executive director of the Nebraska Democratic Party. I always make sure that we're investing in small businesses that are local, that are African American. And I will say, I tried to reach out to Lincoln. One lady was like, I can't help you. And she was very, I'm not gonna say she was very rude. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm trying to give you some business. But I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Soul, who came down and DJ'd. We had Dreamy Displays, Brittany Thomas, who does the different displays, Huskerland Popcorn, and then we also had Philip Hodges, who came down and did the 360 camera. So I just want to say that I'm always intentional whenever we're doing something of making sure that Black businesses are receiving or we're investing in those small businesses and stuff. So if I ever put it out there, just make sure that when I put stuff out there and I ask for something, it's normally when I'm asking for businesses, I'm asking for a reason, as well as when we're looking at catering and stuff. And then also Don Bacon is having a town hall. He has a town hall in Wahoo on Saturday. And I can drop the stuff in there. So yes.
Okay. If you ever need media services, we are Black business too. So let us know.
Yes. So as we gear up the elections and stuff, just know that we will be reaching out, especially with the presidential and the 2024 is a big election. It's a presidential year, as well as we have 5 federal seats. So you will see that ramped up on media. We've always used media. We use Omaha Star. We've used William King to buy ads. So you will see that as we ramp up and stuff. So just know I'm always thinking about that. So
call me. Call me. Thank you so much for you guys coming in this morning. Really appreciate you guys getting up early and coming through as always. Always hearing the words of wisdom from y'all and getting some perspective, especially on the neighborhoods. I highly encourage everybody to join your neighborhood association.
Yes.
You see what that leads to. That leads to people, these women of power, these leaders that are here trying to help us get through this mess. And so, and you always bring some hope as well too, because by the last few times you came on here, I'm just like, I just need to move back to California. This is just this mess out here.
It's too much.
And you guys come with some hope, with some good news and some stuff like the fight is continuing on. So really appreciate y'all, and really take care of yourselves, please. We need you.
That part.
Yep. We'll catch up with you soon. Thank you, ladies, for coming through. You guys have a good day.
See ya.
Peace. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We will take a quick break and come right back in and finish up the show here. We got a few more minutes left in the show, actually about 20. So thank you for everybody who posed your questions and had comments and things to say to the ladies. It's always a great time when the ladies come on, man. It's always a good time. We'll be right back and continue on. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for everybody that's joining us. Appreciate it. Precious has put all the links in the chat, so definitely check that out. If you missed any parts of this show, please go back to Facebook or YouTube and check out the show in its entirety, and do us a favor and read the chats.
Amen.
Because the chat chimers have chimed up. Katie Rain and Michael Scott are saying chime up on their show too, man. I was like, y'all gonna steal our, stealing our chat chimers. Chat chimers, man. Go back and check out the chat because the chat runs deep. No, they're doing a good job. Go definitely check them out. The Michael Scott Unleashed over on YouTube. Check them out. And for those of you that have patiently waited and been around on the show here. Up to this point, if you stayed with us this long, got a little treat for you real quick, and I'm gonna play it right about now.
But can I find this in Arlington?
Oh, good grief, yes.
Oh boy. Let's see how long it is. Let's hold it out.
This guy is probably close to 5 feet. Texas rat snakes are going to be one of the largest snakes that you find in the Metroplex area.
What the? Get this thing off me, man. Get this thing off me, man. God dang. What is this thing jumping at me for, man? He likes you. Yeah, I can tell, man.
There you go,
ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. That's viral history.
One of the first casts that went viral, man. Funniest thing ever. Brother was live on the air. Dropped the F-bomb when he fell back. You didn't hear it there because they bleeped it out, but he dropped the F-bomb when he fell back. Live on the air, man. Hilarious. Anyway, we've been teasing him about that for years and years and years. He didn't like it at first. Now it seems like he's leaned into it a little bit because they got the lizard on the show and yeah. So he's got that right on the thing. But yeah, he was literally like one of the first people to go viral before viral was even a thing.
Yeah.
Pop said that's messed up.
Yeah, we gave him a hard time about it for a long time.
I almost want to watch it again. It was so funny.
Oh
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
If you're out there watching, Michael, we love you. We love you.
It's just him holding that snake in the first place. You knew something was gonna go wrong,
man.
And then leaping lizards happened and jumped on. He fell back on the set. It sounded like they had a live set in there too. Like Yes, classic. We felt like when I got to town, I knew about the legend of Michael Scott, of course, and then when we decided we were going to build this morning show, I thought, man, wouldn't that be great if we can get his voice on? And brought him on, and mashed it with Michelle Troxclair. If you missed the early days of Mind and Soul morning show, and talking about some fire between them two, for real. So interesting stuff. But that's also, he was also the reason why we had Pete Ricketts on, Gene Stothard. He was very, very adamant on getting all the big name guests on. This was before we were able to really lace our personality on the situation, because we would have had we would have had different questions for everybody. I'll just say it like that. But the way that Michael Scott ran his interviews is the reason why he can have access to people like that. They'll come on to talk to him. So you remember the Mind and Soul days, Tessie Jean? That's what's up,
man.
Yeah. So so interesting character, man. He's been all over the place doing so many things, man. Channel 7. He's gone out to LA, worked at Entertainment Tonight. He's been an anchor in Houston. I mean, he's a nationwide treasure as far as a broadcast journalist is concerned. So legendary dude. And now he has this podcast. He's stepping into the 21st century. I'm hoping that part of that reason why he was doing that was because we helped a little bit with the influence on that.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that he's doing that. We need all the black media in North Omaha that we can stand,
man.
So we ain't never mad. Like, look, add on to it. There's so much more information out there that can be had. He has a lot of contacts and stuff like that, even in the government, just broadcasting over the years from the 60s, 70s. He knows politicians everywhere and all kinds of stuff. So it would be a wealth of information to talk to him for sure. His name is, did I miss the name of the podcast? Yeah, it's called Michael Scott Unleashed is the name of that podcast. Yeah. And they just had their first episode the other day, so you might want to check it out.
I think that's in a partnership with Omaha Magazine.
There you go, partnership with Omaha Magazine. So yeah, man, they're doing their version of the thing. We're doing our version of the thing here. It's 8:45. You believe in the concept of time. We thank all the chat chimers, our co-hosts, for helping us talk about some of the issues here. And I think that we're moving towards that, feet on the ground. Trying to make something happen, make moves, take action on some of the things that we're talking about here. That kind of differentiates us a little bit. Where we're talking about the things that you guys want to talk about. We're talking about the things that are relevant to our neighborhoods. We're creating our own headlines where the headlines are lacking. And in the end, we're also saying, hey, let's mobilize and, feet on the ground, boots to the roots, and make some change happen around here. So we're going to continue to do it our way. And that's how it is. And you want us to change up, let us know.
Yeah, always looking for input. And definitely, again, if you have any stories that we're not talking about, feel free to drop those into the chat. As always, when you're here, you're definitely welcome to let your mind be free and more importantly, have your voice heard, man. So we appreciate all the support we've been getting, man, as well. Again, moving into the future and what, we hope for Sky to be. We've definitely been, just kind of side note, been talking about some production things and some other things that we want to bring forth. So definitely, big shout out to all the support that we've been getting and just the patience, because we have been talking about some things for quite some time, but a lot of things finally coming to shape, coming to fruition. So definitely big shout out to all the support. And one of the big things is just figuring out how to move and what to move on. As you just mentioned, Paul, really trying to find some solutions together. And big shout out to our partners over at the Reader and Flatwater Free Press for the kind of introducing the concept of solutions journalism to us. And it's funny how the progression of this show and us really getting a lay of the land before we decide, okay, this is how and what we're going to do as far as moving, is lining up with these presidential elections and just the political landscape. Again, a shift in focus that we want for season, would it be now season 6 coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
Is this season is teamwork making the dream work. So now we're coming together and organizing, and we're going to move on some things next year, and hopefully some of those things will definitely be a part of what's going on with the presidential elections, and getting out the vote and really mobilizing and getting some real things done. And really now that we see the impact that having the right senators have, and having the right people in position, now we see that impact. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So really. Let's keep it going, y'all. Definitely appreciate the support and where this whole endeavor is going.
Mayor Sanchez, Ariel's 402 says, thank you, First Sky, for providing a quality product and being a brand of integrity. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate that compliment. You're a part of the First Sky fam. You've added to the integrity of our organization, especially the work that you did over there with the BAA, with the Black Agenda Alliance. You always represent us very well, and we really appreciate that. And it's going to lead to many things, many more things in the future. So we'll be getting together and speaking face to face when we have the Chat Chimers kickback this summer, and then when we roll into season 6, man, hopefully we'll be adding some more some other folks around in the family here to come speak and bring some special guests on. I think in season 6 we're going to have a lot more guests that we need to be questioning. We're coming up on 5 seasons now and have pretty much a beautiful group of folks that are kind of like-minded, and we're kind of on the same page here. And we have searched through and found the language in order to go into battle, and we're understanding the processes a little bit more. And I feel very strongly about the things that we're learning, so that when we talk to the Gene Stothers and and everybody else, maybe coming up in season 6 here, we'll have some real questions. It won't just be a dogfight. It'll be, we can jam up who we need to jam up, because we know what we're talking about, and that's very important to me. So I think that we got some big plans coming up for season 6 and 7. We've already kind of planned out season 7 as well. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to drop some of this stuff on you that we're working on now, but it'll be very interesting. Sarah Phelps says she's headed to the Capitol and getting mentally prepared with First Sky. Appreciate that.
Hey.
Appreciate that very much. I hope we can give the mental fortitude that it takes to go and battle in the legislature for sure. So with that said, we only got about 10 minutes left in the show. Buddy, you want to do a little lightning round for anything else that we had left, or are we?
Yeah. Well, we sort of touched base on a lot of stuff, but want to give a little more detail in this lightning round, especially for those of you who are moving or on your way down to Lincoln ahead of sessions and whatever else you have to do in Lincoln, hopefully organizing and things like that. There are some issues that we should be paying attention to, namely the big issues. Talking about, of course, abortion rights, women's reproductive rights, and of course, the economic situation with the Omaha Economic Recovery Act and LB 1024 and 531. Again, those both bills are actually making their way through the legislature in regards to LB 626, which would again ban abortions once embryonic cardiac activity can be detected, which is usually around 6 weeks of pregnancy, is heading into debate. And just before debate begins, actually, there is an effort to curtail again abortion access. Planned Parenthood officials have said that legislation is contributing to a nationwide public health crisis, and protests, of course, continue. If this bill does advance, it still must make it through 2 more rounds of debate before it eventually goes on the desk of Governor Jim Pillen to be signed. So there's still a fight to be had, and still definitely eyes on what's going on with LB 626. Again, it will require 33 votes to advance, and the vote is expected to come down to a razor-thin margin, according to Andy Grubb, who's Director of Public Affairs for Planned Parenthood Advocates of Nebraska. So we'll definitely be looking out for that. And again, the late moves from Governor Jim Pillen as far as his appointment for the Geist replacement might play a role in, again, these 33 votes for, again, pushing forward this abortion situation in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Also, again, as I mentioned, LB 531, which has advanced, luckily, through its first round of debate on a 30-0 vote. The bill will follow up the bill is a follow up on the 2022 1024 bill, which allocated again $335 million to areas of Nebraska, namely East Omaha, Lincoln, and some other rural areas around Nebraska. Again, we'll all be divvying up those funds. The bill still needs to make it through 2 more rounds again before it ultimately reaches Governor Jim Pillen's desk, which, as we mentioned throughout the show, will be an uphill battle all the way up to Pillen's desk, and hopefully it makes it across his desk. But 2 more rounds, we reach the mark of 1 round, so we'll definitely keep our eyes on this situation and any possible hurdles that we'll have coming down the pipe. Again, 531 deals with changing those funds from ARPA federal funds to the state's reserve and going through the Department of Economic, the DED, the Department of Economic Development. There we go. So definitely looking at those 2 bills, and if you're making your way down to Lincoln, you might want to maybe peek ahead into your senator's office to make a mention or remind them as those go into debate of where we stand.
Yep. There it is. Gwenister, I'm sorry that you lost us there. Just refresh your Facebook, see if that helps. Sarah Phelps in the chat is saying Westboro Baptist Church is in Lincoln tomorrow for the 574th debate. No respect on their name. Gotcha. Also, Tony Johnson 12 says need First Sky Legislature Day in Lincoln. Get recognized on the floor. Black sorority recognized yesterday. Ooh,
okay.
We can go get recognized and speak out a little bit. This is day 60. I was trying to find to see what was on the agenda for today. I can't really find it right now. I don't want to hold everybody up looking for that. But definitely, we only got a few more. How many days the Unicamera was on? Like 80 days total.
Yeah,
right?
it's ticking down very, very quickly. I think they said until June.
Yeah. So yeah, it's coming. It's ticking down. I'm glad that Brother McKinney was able to get some things in. I can't wait to talk to him Friday about how that went for sure. Marion Williams says, speaking out against the harmful side of the endless filibuster has helped move LB 531 towards the goal. Okay. I appreciate that perspective. If there's been some people that have spoken out to go ahead and end that situation so that things can get moving, that seems to be the most the best bet right now, as far as I'm concerned. I think we were really trying to figure out how to stay allied with the people that were, with the senators that were on that, because we understood why they were fighting. But at the same time, you can't hold up the whole session when there's needs in the black community, especially there's needs in the black community. And like Precious said, don't watch speaking on those needs as well.
Right.
For real. Marion Williams says 626 is up first thing this morning, 574 tomorrow. Thank you. I was trying to find those. Do you have any descriptions on what 626 and 574 is for us?
I do.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Again, 626, as I mentioned, is the one that deals with the 6-week abortion period, or the gestational period of the embryo.
Yeah.
So that deals with that, and then 574 deals with the gender affirming surgeries for those for the youth. So
okay, so it's a big,
and other
big
medical.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. Big day today for sure. So appreciate everybody that's their efforts of going up to the legislature and writing letters to the legislature for these things. Just want to continue to encourage people to do that, and I just want to thank everybody for that's done that already. And yeah, man, now that we know what's really going on, we're gonna try to next session. I really feel like we're gonna be doing some organizing where we're gonna be on deck, possibly even doing the show from on site if we need to.
Possibly.
Yeah, man.
That's actually an idea. And let's make teamwork make the dream work and get mobilized. And speaking of teamwork making the dream work, before we get out of here, we've also alluded to that, but rounding up our lightning round. Justin Jones, one of the Justins in Tennessee, a part of the Justin 2, or as they try to call it, the Tennessee 3, but we saw how that went down. But again, that Representative Justin Jones is making his way back into his position, and there might be an opportunity for the other Justin Pearson, to make his way back to the Tennessee legislature as well. Of course, Precious also mentioned earlier that there will be a special election for them to stay in their positions permanently. But as of today, or as of now, it does look like they will be making their way back, at least temporarily. So we'll definitely continue to watch that situation. But yeah, man, very, very, very interested what's going on politically today across America. And let's try not to repeat history.
Especially in crazy stuff going on in Tennessee, for real. That's what's going on. Precious said the vote for Justin Pearson is today, so we'll find out what's going on today on that. Von Chapman says, sounds like Omaha will have its own version of Black Fox News in the Michael Scott Unchained radio show.
Sheesh. Dang.
Sponsored by the Omaha Magazine. All those black folks that First Sky have invited but have not shown up will surely show up on this platform created just for them. We shall see. Michael Scott is an interesting character. It's interesting to say. I've personally seen him go full on fist up Black Panther with the Afro political on certain things. Then I see him. I see him able to speak to everybody. I'll just put it like that. Like I think he's able to speak to everybody. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's going to be the Black Fox News.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't know if Katie Rain and Michael Scott's going to let that happen, but it'll be an interesting juxtaposition. I mean, I'm sure that we'll be playing off each other with the shows. Maybe have them on ours. Maybe he can go on theirs. Maybe he can get the ones in that've been turning us down, and then we can go in and question them. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that might be able to happen there if we can just, as black media, just all get together and figure out our lanes and figure out how we can work together. And that's what I've got my fingers crossed on. So
there you go.
Yeah, we'll see. It is 1 minute till 9 o'clock. If you believe in the power of, and you believe in the process of time, in the power of time, in the power of 1 minute, which could be an infinity inside. Yeah. But here we are at 9 o'clock. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
I see what you did there. Man, big shout out to everybody who tuned in. Big shout out, of course, to Sisters Precious McKesson and Kimara Snipes for taking the time out of their busy schedule to come and speak with us, educate us as usual, and leave us with a little more hope, man. Definitely support those sisters. Best of luck to what's going on with you, Precious. Hopefully, They will not prevail. They will not prevail. But yeah, man, a big shout out to all the Ghost listeners, first and last time listeners. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. And yeah, catch the same time, same place, man. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning, in the DS, whatever you want to call it, man. Just tune in. And also tell a friend, tell a friend. And until next time, man, definitely watch your dollars, take care of yourself and your loved ones. And yeah, Paul B.
Yo. One more haps before we get out of here. Gwen Easter said Commission on African American Affairs will have a meet and greet on Saturday the 22nd at North High, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Wow, that's a long day. As commissioners, she wants everybody to attend, and I would love to come check that out as well. I've been wanting to hit one of those meetings. I hope it's not 9 to 11, but we'll see. Pop says, excuse me. Pop says the show was phenomenal as usual. Thanks for hanging us or helping us make it over the hump today. And see you on Friday. Love to you guys and the whole First Sky fam. Appreciate you, Pops. Love for sure, man. And I appreciate everybody who's on the chat today too, man. Lots of good comments, good questions. I really appreciate it. Want to give thanks to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. I want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and a shout out to you, the chat chimers, for allowing us to speak with you. It's always a great conversation. I feel like we always learn something and move forward. Thanks again. I'll personally think of myself, Precious McKesson, Kimara Snipes, put some respect on their names, 2 leaders in our community. We're coming with the wisdom and really helping us understand things and breaking things down. I wish somebody would talk about Kimara taking her notes. Love that she be taking them notes. She's very detailed with those notes and comes back with what they actually said, not just her interpretation, which is great.
Yeah, not just notes, receipts.
Yep. But Gwen Easter said 11:30 a.m. That's better. Not 9 to 11:30 a.m. So definitely check that out tomorrow. Once again, Commission on African American Affairs meet and greet Saturdays the 22nd at North High, 9 to 11:30. And yeah, definitely come check that out. Josh Tag in the house. How you doing, bro?
Hey.
Thank you for another impactful show. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, I hope you guys are learning as much as we are, because this at this point now, this is what I'm doing this for real. So, I'm ready to make some moves, make some changes happening from the stuff that I'm learning for real.
Hey,
so, gotta make it happen. So anyway, thank you all, and we will see you Friday when we will be speaking with brothers Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Can't wait to hear about what happened with the pushing that 531 through,
man,
and what the next steps are. Hearing it from them is always a pleasure, because we get to hear what they think, how they think it's going, and they're gonna know better than any of us watching, because they're in the trenches there. So can't wait to speak to them. And anybody else who you think we need to have on the show, drop it in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Go to Friends of First Sky Omaha, join, check out what's going on inside of there, and put any of your haps and everything that you guys want to talk about in there as well. And any resources you have too. We can kind of use that as the place that we have to continue the conversation when we're not live. So go to Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group Facebook page, and let's continue the conversation there. Teamwork makes the dream work. I always say it
there
back.
you go.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Season 5, First Sky Omaha. Thank you, Gwenisa. She said, great show. Have a blessed day. You too. You guys have a good one. And we're out of here.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red